You're just in time. I saved you a seat for the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self improvement. And tonight, I want to give you the best blueprint possible for you to succeed in your own journey of self improvement. It's a very vague title when you just say it out loud. It's about me, and I want to get better, but getting better at what? And how? And in what way? And what exactly is it that I do? What do I need to build so much consistency for? How do I get disciplined for these certain actions and headed towards this goal in my life where I really want to produce this specific outcome? That looks so different depending on the man trying to self improve. This framework should be applicable for any man that's ready to mount his greatest comeback. It's for any guy that can no longer stand the current experiences he's continuing to get. It's just how your life is structured and what's actually happening to you every single day. I mean, you take yesterday. If you're at the tail end of your day today, like me, you just take what happened today. Maybe you know 99.99% sure exactly how tomorrow is going to play out. Or you can use that as well. It's really just one 24-hour interval of, for anybody else wondering what it would be like to be you, taking just one day and placing yourself in that POV, and you are evaluating all of it and how your morning happens and how your afternoon happens and how your evening happens. It's at that point you don't want to be there for any of it. Yet you are still here and you're still alive, you're still breathing, you're still pressing forward. You're carrying on with your life and your existence. As difficult as that is for you right now, it is actually that same exact existence that you are able to flip into something magnificent, something that you actually want to live, that you are actually able to enjoy. This has to be one of the most worthwhile pursuits for any human being, because this process right here, and yes, you can call it self improvement, but it is a journey to establishing a life that you can just enjoy living. There are so many different details in all packed into enjoying life for anyone, especially if you are working tons and tons of hours. You're already really stressed out. You're already burnt out. You don't really even have that much time left back for whatever you want to do at the end of the day. It's all grind. It's all survival. When in this mode, yes, it is really hard to mount this epic comeback into transforming yourself into your greatest version and your life into the highest quality you could possibly experience. However, that doesn't make it impossible for you to curate, for you to tailor a very specific and intentional day that is aimed at just one thing. And that's giving you the most out of it possible. This isn't simply hard work or, you know, really pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, putting the nose to the grindstone and just going as hard as you can. This is understanding yourself on a deeper level, that there are some things that need to happen every single day in your morning and in your afternoon and in your evening that can give back to you. Some of it, and where I'll begin for this deep dive. So much of it is actually right in here. So much of it is mental, because you have to, at a certain point, even if most of your day is being given to activities you don't actually want to do, but you are, because they're helping you stay alive, they're helping you survive, even that is a specific frame. Yeah, you could say this is just framing, but the way you are looking at it is so important, though, because you can't see it as the end all be all. You cannot look at this as my life will always be like this. It will always stay like this. I'll always work at this job I hate. No, that's not how life works when you would frame it in the realm of possibility. This is what can happen, what you could do, and the experiences and the life that you just haven't had yet, that you haven't lived yet. That experience is what I'm talking about. It's to put yourself in these actions that simply allow you to live it out, so that you are passing your perception, your mind, your body through the experience itself, however challenging, however much of a struggle it is for you. It is just the bottom line of how important this really is that you have to live it yourself. So if you are looking at your morning and it's really just, it's you kind of just get ready for work and you're right out the door and it's a rush, looking at whatever part of your morning you're able to adjust or tweak, that just is able to, again, bring you to a closer level of enjoyment, of life. Whether that has to be waking up a little bit earlier, whether it be better for you to take your time, if you could, make yourself real food, if you could have a real nutritious breakfast, if there could be anything that you could fit right there before you have to rush right out your door so you can get to work itself, for as long as you are at work, you have to see that as a catalyst. That what your day job, whatever job you're doing right now to survive, and that's a blessing in and of itself. But however difficult it is for you to continue showing up, soul sucking, like mind numbing, and I can think of so many jobs that are doing exactly this to people. Whether it's 9 to 5 or not, it's just a simple fact that you have to be there. You are on somebody else's clock. This is time that's ticking in your life, and it's not how you want to spend it. Then it's very easy to see how that would bring most people into states of perpetual misery. But please understand, when you enter self-improvement, for as long as you are able to try, for as long as you stay willing to continue curating, creating for yourself a life that you really do want to live, this process, for as long as you continue, it is your job. And I said catalyst because it's fueling you. It's giving you the opportunity to be able to go do something in life. It's actually giving you the chance to do something about it. You have to break it down in this way. And I know, it does sound kind of cliche. And it sounds, like gaslighting oneself. It could be looked at like that. It's very justified to see this as delusion. But when I go over this myself, personally, when I'm thinking of conversations for this podcast, and when I'm just living my own life, hey, bro, there's really no other frame though that's going to serve you better than this one. It is providing you the funds. It's giving back to you. Actually, no, let me stop right there, because there are, God knows how many jobs people are working nowadays that actually are not, giving them nearly enough to survive. I mean, if this is a lower tax bracket, you might need multiple. You might need 2 to 3 jobs, and it's the total sum of all these hours, 40, 50, 60, 70 every week, that allow you to survive. That is a really tough situation to be in. I mean, that once again though, this is where a lot of people are getting so much negativity. You look at the world that we live in today and how society, this is the point at which we have developed into. Like, this is okay. We've reached a place where people, individuals, have to try and provide themselves, 2 to 3 separate incomes just to afford the bare necessities, the very bare minimum of even being able to have a life. The shelter, the lights, the electricity, clothes, the running water, the food, all those bills that they pop right back up every single month. They are revived, okay, to be slain again, month in, month out. And I mean, the older you are, then the longer it feels as though you are just going to be doing this until the day that you die. That it really is never ending. Or what you can see instead, that this is a never ending opportunity. Because you have to try and find for yourself in life. It's going to come down to this. Now we're going a little bit deeper, getting into more nitty gritty details of self-improvement that any man of any age, I mean, who's willing, who's ready, is going to be able to immediately apply to his own life. I say that because however many hours it is on a daily basis or a weekly basis, the lower you are, the more blessed you are for this point. I mean, just straight up. For example, I'll say 40, and 40 is full time. 40 is that's a good amount. 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week. You want to factor in traffic or commuting distance, whatever. This is maybe 2 to 3 solid hours every evening, Monday through Friday, and then the weekends. So for this person, that's what he gets back. That is a lot to work with. Okay? The higher up you go, the less you get back as a person. 50, not as much. 60, not nearly as much. 70 and 80 is that just 7 days a week? Is there even one day off at that point? You have to work with whatever your life allows. This is not something that should cause you despair. It's very understandable that it does. But for that to stop, so that you can, all right, we want to minimize as much suffering, in whatever areas of your life as much as possible. So instead of seeing how little time you have, please see that time as just even more precious for yourself. This is in more extreme scenarios, though. I mean, where it's 60 plus. But even with that being said, I still want this. I believe this will still help any guy who's serious about having a better life. But we'll work with 40, and 40 is a great spot. You get a little bit of time back every day. I would say it's more than a little, but I mean, it is after work, most likely, unless you're an early bird or you're willing to, put some work into that process to try and rewind the clock for yourself. Okay, and try and become a person to wake up earlier. I mean, that I completely understand that struggle. I've been trying to do it myself for it's been a while now, and I do wake up way earlier, and I'm proud of that. But not, but still not as early as I could be. I mean, that's its own little separate struggle. So most often, a lot of guys are going to be working with the evening. Okay, it is after you come home, and you're going to be pretty tired then. Now, it's still a great opportunity to try. It's probably going to be a lot better. It's going to just be smoother as you're building these habits and you're still in the process of creating that routine. How is my life supposed to look like on a weekly basis that it can serve me, that it can help me enjoy it the most? This is where you should try to work with a day off. If you have no days off, not even one on any given week, if days off, days on, whatever profession that would cause a man to live like this, they're just very scarce. It's not every week. It's more like once in a blue moon, 2-3 weeks, something like that, something crazy like that. That is the most extreme scenario possible. It's still time, though. It's still time to be used for something more than just allowing life to remain the same. That's what this is all about. So for your life, if it is gonna come back down to, maybe you're in between 40 and 50, maybe that's the average, then this is a little bit of time every single day and a ton of time on the weekends. That is the time that you have. That's it right there. This is something to accept. It is a part of reality. As frustrating, upsetting, and difficult as it is to wrap your mind around, to be upset that it isn't more time only makes it harder for you to make life better. That's why I say it like this. That's why that frame right there, your work, however much you hate it, it's actually paying for everything. Because without that job, you don't actually have anything else to work with. There would be zero, arguably, that the time that one could get back to do something with, it would be zero because right, no food, no home, no shelter. There'd be that you wouldn't be able to see me. You wouldn't be able to see anything on the internet. There would be no Wi-Fi, ISP, internet service provider, none of that. So when you have all of this, then you have yourself the opportunity of a lifetime, because this is literally the opportunity your specific life is giving you. It can be used or it can be ignored. Bro, this is where self-improvement really begins. This is what it really all comes down to. How do you enjoy that? This is where the game begins. This is how you really break into it. How do you enjoy whatever the amount of free time that your life gives back to you on a weekly basis? If we're going to stick to my average example, then that's evenings and weekends. I mean, the question right there is, what would you want to do? It's not, it will most likely lead to work, but you don't even have to go there yet. This is just thinking about what do I like to do? What do I like to do that will give back to me? You have to exclude all consumptive activities at this point. I'm a big fan myself. One of the first things in my hands growing up as a little kid was a controller. I really, I'm a huge movie buff. I'm a huge anime guy too. I'm pretty much a fan of all of it. I'm a DC guy and I'm a Marvel guy, as controversial as that might be to be both. Yeah, big fan of all of it. But when you acknowledge it can't be these things all the time, that's when you're able to enter a space, okay? Mentally speaking, okay? Trying to perceive life in a new mentality. If I just put down the things that, yes, I enjoy, I like to do, I love to do, but they are doing nothing for the life I actually want to live. I'm going to stop right here because I want to press this point deeper. Okay? This one's huge because it's huge because it's so difficult to overcome. It is very comfortable. It's instantaneous. The gratification is immediate, as fast as you can type, as fast as you can click and press enter to play it. I game every week. I'll watch something every week. It's not to say you have to, you can never. That's probably not sustainable. You definitely need some time to chill, relax, and just enjoy what you like and you love. When life is nothing but just these instantaneous connections to entertainment you enjoy. When it's that all the time, and there is no other area in life that's moving, that's progressing, that's going forward, then you have to be able to accept, enjoy and love life ending right there. It is a lot easier to say than to do. Yeah, no, I mean, if any guy is thinking about this, it would probably sound something along the lines of, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine with staying here. I'm fine with just doing what I know I like, what I've been doing for years. Why? I mean, there's really no need to change. I don't really enjoy my life. I don't have anything that I want. I don't work a job that I want to work. But in that, again, that little bit of time I get back, that's free time. I get to pour it into all of these, what has become so easy to access, to connect. That right there, if you're not able to be honest with yourself, then any man will be setting himself up for massive amounts of misery. Misery that gets worse, not better. It doesn't, I don't think it flatlines. I think it's actually a very slow descent into madness and insanity. The older you get, the more time goes by that you can never get back, that could have been used for whatever. Remember, self improvement can be aimed at how you want life to be. This is the best version of you, whatever that looks like. This is a very precise objective, goal, aim that you're going for because you pick it. You can't do that if you are going to allow yourself to be so caught up with just the shows, the games, the entertainment. The entertainment is substituting, I mean, so much of life for so many of us, and it's understandable up until a certain point. I mean, you can only say, I mean, it really is so hard to be a guy. And I mean, in this day and age, for a guy at the very bottom to pull himself up all the way to the very top, how likely is that? I mean, how many key pieces would you need to fall into place for a process like that to happen? See, as true as all of these takes, all of these angles to look at the, you know, the situation of the modern male dilemma of life, they don't help you get better. One thing, only one thing does, and that's the process itself. Un- when you embrace the fact you are the creator, you are the architect of this process, that is the only road that sets you free. You can't do it in any other way if you're serious about your best life. And anything less, then you're going to have to convince yourself stopping there that will be your paradise. That will be, you know, the the most satisfying things we'll ever get. And a lot of guys, in order to reach that conclusion, in order to kind of like try and shortcut to it, it's you have to lie to yourself. They I did this for too long. Too many years did I give to the, yeah, no, things are fine. I feel fine. I'm doing fine. You know, um, the the ends are meeting. You know, at the end of every month, my bills are paid, taxes are paid. All right, boss is not on my back. I do my job just fine. And all of this can be happening at the very same time you feel like you're dying. You just feel completely empty inside. Your brain is constantly, whenever you're sober, whenever you have a free moment to yourself, you're sitting in traffic, you're taking a shower, okay, you're on the toilet, lunch break, anytime that you are not consuming, okay, and what I mean by consuming is, engaged with the screen, right? That's not, I mean, and you, of course, you can engage with the screen in very productive ways. That's kind of what makes this day and age so incredible. But if it's not, if it's consumptive in nature, oh, this is just something for me to watch. This is just, the, what is it, the cheap dopamine hit, okay, that instant gratification. And I don't get better from this. I don't learn anything from this. It's just, yeah. I mean, you could call it mindless entertainment, but I mean, not all of it is mindless. Some of it's fantastic. You know, I'm a huge fan of so many different kinds of trilogies, shows, stand up, anime series. It's a lot. Allowing your life to be nothing but that. Okay, kind of disassociating. Doing the bare minimum. Yeah, I heard that was that's kind of a new thing. Oh yeah, that's right. It was called quiet quitting. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but that was definitely going on. You know, maybe still is. You have to be there. So physically speaking, your body will go through the actions and the motions to do the job just well enough. You can't, you shouldn't get fired. But then everything else that makes you a human being is not there. And there's no desire. There's no attention being paid. Not a care in the world. It doesn't resonate in any way. It doesn't give you any kind of meaning. You could care less, right? It's like, okay, if I am due for my next shift tomorrow, great. If the place burns down, also great. It just, it just doesn't matter. And it has to matter. I mean, most often you'll see life really begins to fall apart because so many things are cemented in this internal belief it doesn't matter. But no, it really does. Every minute, every hour that you're able to get back, that's free time for you. And that, again, the specific intentionality of how it is going to be used, that's everything. That's everything. That's how all of this works. But it's not, it can be, but it's not all about bodybuilding at the gym. It's not all about seminars and courses and studying and researching on the internet for how to make that money, how to be super successful in this field, and how to, et cetera, et cetera. It it should be being funneled into an activity that you're able to give a crap about. That's what it should be. The only way to find that is to give yourself time when you do have some free time to explore. This is what you substitute the usual time that a man would spend with, the games, the vices, all right, all the entertainment. When you set all that aside and you put yourself first, because these are questions you ask yourself. So where is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to do? What is something that I really care about? How can I provide value in this world I live in for this time period that I'm alive for? And then in turn, value can be exchanged to me. That's it. That's it right there. And not to say that's it as in easy, simple. You got this. Okay, all right. I'm not. I'm done for tonight. No, it's actually going to be the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. It's just figuring that out. Once you do, then the rest of it just needs to be lived. The whole point is to be as successful as possible, to have the best life you could possibly live. Yes, that is the whole point. Okay, I don't believe you have to go all the way to the end for that to happen. It is possible. This is why it's so hard, because what you get is your best life immediately. You start living your best life in order to go in that direction, in order to have it. And the reason why you can say it does all make sense. You really can say it like this. It works. Is because deep down, to your bones, to the deepest fibers of your heart, that what you chose, that this is it for you, that this is what you care about the most. This is what fires you up the most. This is what you would be able to do for forever. I know that, that's passion. That is life's work. That is finding something that resonates, something that is very meaningful for you. Even the road and the journey to find it is going to take you way beyond however unenjoyable, however unsatisfying life currently is. You learn so much on the way. You change so much. You transform, okay, as you continue to do this, because as you learn, you are given that will help you stimulate new ideas to implement and try in your life. It is these actions and these tasks and these activities and getting into them that change everything. All of a sudden, just like that, you have a reason to look forward to your days off, and not because of the usual, not because of your go-tos. You have a reason for getting home as quickly as you can after work. And if you, and if that really does happen to you, actually it will happen to you, because you're starting to feel excitement for life again, to be able to move into a part of your day that serves you the most. And you're understanding that part that you really didn't enjoy, what it's actually doing is making sure you are propelled to the part that you do enjoy. If you really think about it, it really is. That is what it's doing. Your bills being paid is how it is what creates the opportunity for you to try at whatever you want. It's why the lights stay on. It's why it's how you pay the Wi-Fi bill. It's how you get grub. It's how you get fuel. One of the most food. Food heals. It's how we all continue. Well, no, I should say it's how we all get to continue our lives. That's your job. That's what's really good. As much as you hate it, as much as you don't want to be there, that's what it's bringing you. It's helping you get closer to what you could do for the rest of your life. That's that transition, and it's absolutely the hardest part, because at the same time you have to continue funding your own dreams with what you don't want to do. But without the attempt, and if you don't try, then what ends up happening is you continue to fund yourself for the rest of your life to do what you don't want to do. You just continue paying for that. You continue paying for experiences you don't want. It doesn't have to be like that. This is how self-improvement helps take you in a completely different direction, a completely different trajectory of your entire life. So, then at this point, okay, if you're still with me, bro, what is it that you want? How, what is it for you? It's okay. It's okay to say what you really want. You see, you have to use the truth, be as honest as possible, and you can't hold back. You can't allow the negativity of how unlikely it is to happen to stop you from saying what you really want in life. Okay, this is just a personal take of mine, and I'm not even talking about you, but it would be my number one guess for all these guys. I'm saying all these guys. How about, yeah, I'm going to say 100%. 100%. I know that's a bold claim, but 100% of American males, so American, born male human beings, I'm one of them, alive right now between the ages of 18 and 40 years old. I'm going to say every single one of them, if you allow them to be honest, and how about I'll throw in a quick, crazy, fantastical incentive um, for this example, just to make sure we get the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so I'll say, if you say it, you'll have it tomorrow. If you can just say it, what you really want, okay, then today ends. You go to bed. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll wake up with it. Like boom, magic. I think a lot of guys would say, give me a wife that I'm attracted to, that I love dearly, and that I'll be able to happily spend the rest of my life with. Oh, and also make sure it's the other way around too. That I am very attracted to her. She loves me very much, and she would like to spend her life with me for the rest of her life. And then a family, and then kids. I did pick a number, okay, bro. Let's pick it. How about, okay, let's just how about on average? Let's just say three, okay. Let's just say three. All right. I am I don't know why, but I just my gut tells me it's way more than three. My gut tells me if a man's gonna be honest, it's several. Uh, I think a lot of guys is as many as possible. The only reason why you don't hear guys say that is because it's right. We're in reality, not this magical fantasy land I'm talking about right now. But that's what dreams are. That this is what you need to create for yourself because it gives you the aim, and it's going to be way higher than where you're at right now. That's the whole point, bro. Because trying to reach it, that will take you up to greatness, brother. See, that's why this is so worthwhile in doing. But to finish the example of what I believe, all men, what is it, 18 and 40, what is that? All millennials, all Zoomers, all alphas. I think the betas are too young, but when they grow up, okay, once they turn into men, they'll want this too. Okay, so that's the wifey. As many kids as possible. And then, very obviously, financial freedom. That's the funds to, the means, the wealth, the resources to provide for such a big family. And then, yeah, throw them all in a house. Throw a couple Bugattis and Lambos in the garage. Okay, that's enough. There it is. It's really not that deep. It's not that. It's actually not that. No. It's going to be the hardest thing you could ever try to pull off. But actually naming it and thinking about it, it's not that crazy. That's love. That's family. That's work you care about. That's success. That's a career you love. That's what you're trying to go towards. This is the job you hate, bro. This dream is being funded by that. And it's not a direct deposit. It's not that your job is actually paying you to make this dream come true, but it technically is. Because it will come down to what you do, how you do it, how you show up, what you're willing to try. And remember, as I mentioned earlier, live and experience yourself. How will you do that? That's what this is all about. That takes a lot of self-reflection. You gotta spend some time where it's just real quiet and you really want to think about this stuff to yourself. Is this what I really want? Oh my god, it is. And then you go. You just start. I mean, see, I was talking about this previously on the Pillars of Man, about this renaissance that I believe is occurring, because you've just never been able to do that before. That's never been possible in all of human history. It's very recent. It's very new that you can just be home. No one's right. You're not breaking the law, being home and alone and having a computer and pressing the on button and then beginning. I want to build my best life. ChatGPT, Google, we've gotten to this point. You don't even have to say it in that very generic manner. No, what, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what it is. You just have to know. I mean, I'll try to break it down. Maybe I'll end on this. So the final point of tonight's episode. I'm too depressed. Hey, maybe you're with me, or any man listening is with me, but there's a particular guy who's thinking to himself, this all sounds great. Yeah, sign me up. I would love a lovely wife. Okay. Loyal and beautiful and all that. All the other wifey qualities, I'll let you fill in the blank. Okay, bro, to each his own. And the kids and all the money to support all of this, and just awesome, just a great life. Okay. Like to do it. Like some of the most ultimate male experiences. All right. right? The lifelong connection with a woman, the nurturing and uh, upbringing of his own lineage, of his own blood, and then being able to support all of that with financial freedom is a great way to put it, because financial freedom is you're doing so well financially speaking, money, you don't have to worry about money anymore. That's a lot. That's you made it, bro. You are rich. But to get rich, doing what you want, doing what you love, doing something you really care about, you know, not something that is, yeah, making you want to unalive. There we go. I'm on the tube, so unalive yourself. And if that really is going to have to begin with, I'm way too depressed. Clinically, I'm actual diagnosis. I'm way too depressed. That's the first hurdle. That for a man in that situation, that's the very first chapter of his greatest life. How do you beat that? And that is something that you can look up. That's something that you can pull up within seconds. But that's just one though. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not depression. Maybe it's I have a horrendous addiction to corn. Okay? Way too much corn. Not the one on the cob. Every single day. How do I beat that? How do I get past this? You know, I mean, it's some of this stuff is not, doesn't have to be that crazy or extreme. I mean, well, these things are not. These things are very common. But what I mean is, the question could be something like, "I'm too lazy. I've always been really lazy. Had a big problem with laziness my whole life. Huge procrastinator." That can be looked up. That can be pulled up immediately. How to combat, how to get over, how to heal, how to solve the laziness, procrastination, the depression, the vice, the addiction. It's all right there. It's all right there. It's just it's so hard because the 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 solution and the cure is right next to the vice. Destruction. Madness. It all stems from the same, it all stems from this incredibly powerful technology that we've innovated up to the point that it is as fast as you can think and type it. There it is. There's your answer. And you won't, I mean, when else would you do this? Your free time. It's really, it's very hard. It's really, really, really hard. But it is extremely simple. And as that was my aim tonight. That was just, the sole objective for tonight's episode is articulating that this blueprint, so to speak, is all you need to get started. And it's from there it gets complex. It's from there but that's okay, because this is to be lived and experienced. Okay, once you figure out what it is that you really want to do, once you start trying to do it, all sorts of course correcting is going to begin to occur. It's in that course correction. Oh wait, okay, so now that I want to do this, I actually need to learn this, and I actually need to go get this. I actually need to, get better with this, and it just keeps going. That's the struggle, but that's how you get better, and that's how life gets better. When you get better, your life gets better. They are intertwined in this way. And if you need, help, then of course here at the Pillars of Man, I will continue going over everything and anything that helps with all of this male self-improvement, because you're watching the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self-improvement surrounding philosophy, masculinity, wellness, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Kumo. I continue to reshape the modern male reality, giving any man who wishes to pull the very best out of himself a way to do that. Thank you so much for watching, bro. If you like content like this, hit that subscribe button for me and give me a like as well. Hope to see you real soon in my next episode. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.